Hello and welcome to Totally Unprofessional. We're your hosts, Damian Botner
and Alyx Bailey, and we're here to give you a totally unprofessional view on art, culture, and our everyday experiences. All right, everybody.
That was a real shit show. Can you
welcome
plug that up?
To
I asked you to earlier and you didn't.
Earlier when?
Like 5 minutes ago.
I did not hear you say that.
I was like, hey, my phone's on like 10%. Can you plug it up?
I did not hear you say that.
You said okay.
Did I?
Yeah.
I really don't remember that.
Okay.
Like at all. It did not hit my brain.
Oh, gee.
At all. Anyways, this is Totally Unprofessional podcast.
Hi.
We just had to have a minute.
So I started last week.
Did you?
Yeah. I can show you. I can show you. Oh, no. I can
it's
show
already
you the notes.
Started.
I think.
I don't know. What did we talk about last week?
Hold on.
Last
week we talked about the Grammys. We started off.
I started off with Gaga, right?
Yeah, we were kind of going both at the same time.
I started first, though.
Well, you get to start first again.
Why? Okay. I'm gonna take selfies on your phone.
Keep your eye out for these rockin' selfies.
Oh yeah, they're going up on all of our things.
They're going up on Twitter only. Twitter exclusive.
Just Twitter?
Just Twitter.
Why just Twitter?
Well, like one's gonna be a Twitter exclusive, the other one's gonna be an Instagram exclusive. Why? So this month,
I'm taking really sorry. So this month
is Black History Month.
It sure is.
And we're only going to be talking about that in our art section because next week we're going to talk about it in our culture section. I'm kind of talking about it in both regards. I guess I can start since you definitely did go first last week.
Yeah, you can.
I just wanted to make you go first again.
Thank you.
Okay, so this week I'm going to be talking about first. I'm going to be giving a quick, debriefing of, when Black History Month kind of came about. So it was Black History Month started as just a week dedicated to the history of African Americans by Carter Woodson. He's the person who started what is now called the Journal of African American History. Black History Month began in 1915, half a century after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. So that's what's going on right now. February is Black History Month. Yay!
Yay! Go February.
Go February. So I'm going to be talking about, I guess, it's kind of two subjects all surrounding one, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Okay. So
I'm going to be talking about Black Panther. Black Panther is a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that is set to come out on February 16th. And that's 10 days from now, right? Today's the 6th, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, if you don't know the, story of Black Panther, essentially he is Black Panther is a superhero from this country that the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes up, as they do. It is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's called Wakanda. In this, it talks about him, being the leader of Wakanda. If you've seen any of the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, you will know that he came in, I want to say it was Civil War.
I think so.
I think it was Civil War.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of them.
I love Marvel. I'm a little rusty.
Yeah.
I love Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Marvel Comics. They're not as good. Not as good.
Not a comic fan?
No, I mean, I am a comic fan.
Just not Marvel comic fan?
Not Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I never got into comics.
But anyway, this is part of the MCU. There's two, kind of separate articles that I wanted to talk about. They're, things going around. So the first one is this hashtag that got started on Twitter, and it's hashtag what Black Panther means to me. And this was started by Kayla Marie Sutton. curator of the Black Girl Nerds podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So she started this
Shout out to their
hashtag.
podcast.
Yeah, go check that podcast out. I'm totally
Yeah.
going to look it up.
Oh, yeah.
She started the hashtag What Black Panther Means to Me.
Oh, that was today.
Today.
Wow, recent culture. Hello.
Yeah, so I'm staying real up to date.
We are giving you the latest feed.
People would go on, they went on this hashtag, and they were talking about, like, reasons why they felt like they were represented within this film. They included the mentioning of positive portrayal of an African nation and the important role of Black scientists within the Wakandan country in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is a quote from, I think this is a Rolling Stone article, yeah. It says, after decades of trying to nail the modern Black superhero, we may have finally be getting what we asked for and getting it right. So people are talking about how important this particular movie is to the Marvel Cinematic Universe because the cast is all people of color except for, like, 2 people. Mm. So
that's so rare.
it doesn't exist.
That doesn't happen. This is, like, the first time that's ever happened, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me
it
on
doesn't
that,
exist especially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
All of them are white except for, like, 1.
Yeah.
Until T'Challa, who is the Black Panther. No, so Chadwick
really
Boseman plays T'Challa, who is the Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan plays Eric Killmonger. Everybody in here is Black except for Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman.
That's okay.
That's it.
That's okay.
And
it's like the tables have turned.
How the tables have
tabled.
No, it is just incredible. And people are raving about how this might be the first movie in mainstream culture to really give good, positive representation of African American people.
Right.
I'm personally super stoked for this movie.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be good.
And another point that's being made, and this was by the person in the Rolling Stone article, Black Superheroes Matter, Why a Black Panther Movie is Revolutionary. They mentioned being in a Trump era right now, how timely it is to see actually see Black representation on screen, to see pride on screen, to see different facets of Black culture on screen, to see us in different representations of intelligence, power, and presence. And that is a quote from Denzel Whitaker in this article. And he's speaking on how we are finally getting, like, a broad representation of Black individuals in mainstream culture that's not Kanye West and Barack Obama. So, and it's, like, timely to the fact that it's coming out in February. Mm-hmm. Black History Month.
Right.
Which I think is so awesome. And I think it's, like, this is bringing a lot of light to, and not that it should be the only thing bringing light to it, but the fact that it is in so many people's beloved, like, obsessions that they have with Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Well, superheroes in general.
It's bringing light to the fact that there needs to be more representation, and that this is going to be representation for people that aren't African American. Mm-hmm. They're going to see genuine representation of Black people in something that they are already, like, eyebrow deep in. And I think it's important in a different way for white people to see representation of how people actually are, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's like when you're a kid and you, like, want to be a superhero. But all we had, you know, was, like, Superman and Wonder Woman and shit.
But if you were Black, you didn't have anybody.
Exactly. And so it's good that this is a thing.
There's going to be a really badass superhero for little kids to look up to.
Right.
And be like, that guy looks like me.
Right. So.
But I can't even.
It's nice for other people.
I can't even imagine like, how happy this must make people to finally see themselves represented on screen. Because it's not just black men. It's black women that are in this movie. Like, lead characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 black women in this. In the lead characters. Like, how awesome is that? And then Chadwick Boseman is an absolute sweetheart. Like, interviews with him are just adorable. He's so funny and so sweet, and I love it. And I loved him in Civil War when we first got to see him. Like, he was just this badass, like, didn't care about anybody. He just was doing his own thing. Yeah. Standing up for, like, his beliefs. And now there's going to be a whole movie about it. And I think that's awesome and super, super important to recognize that it is nearly an all-black cast.
Right. No, yeah, that is actually incredible, like, that they did that.
It's unheard of in the Marvel universe,
but if they hadn't have done that, I think we would all have rioted and burned down Marvel Universe. But, no, it's super good that they did that.
Yeah.
But that they made the movie at all.
It's awesome. And I can't wait to see it February 16th. Yay.
I might see it. I would like to, but also I haven't watched a Marvel movie in or a superhero movie in general in a while.
Don't worry, we can catch you up.
I'm not a big superhero movie fan.
I am.
I know.
We can catch you up.
I don't know. I'm just not super into them.
That's okay.
It's okay. We all like what we like.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think you should see it just
because it's...
If for no other reason than it's awesome representation.
Right. No, I get you.
And everybody's, like, pumped. It's all over Twitter. It's all over Instagram. It's all over Facebook. Like, I've been seeing articles about this damn movie.
This damn movie.
For, like, 6 months.
Right, yeah. No,
steadily.
I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it, too.
And then today, when I was checking up on it, like, this hashtag had just popped up this morning. So it was, like, super awesome to see. It's all coming to fruition and, like...
You said when was it? February 16th?
16th.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. In the USA. Now, in other countries, I don't know.
Wish I knew.
Okay, Alex. So
okay, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about a video that has been floating around on the good old internet and all those social media guys. Damian just pulled out a monster. Oh yes.
It's not even late.
No, it's not. It's the red one. No, it's the video where a girl, her name is Bethany Nava, I think she said. Nava. Yeah. Was pulled off a subway train by a police officer for having her foot in a seat, and was also arrested for it. Like I said, this video has been like all up and down the internet that I've seen. I've seen it for a while now. And I don't think that she is African American, but she's not white. But here's so the city's metropolitan transportation is apparently like cracking down on their policies, and one of those policies is having your feet in the seats. But, like, you know, the other ones are, like, you know, no eating, no drinking, no loud music.
The usual.
The usual stuff. But one of them's no feet in the seat, which, like, I get that. Like, if someone's trying to sit down, you're, like, taking up some of the seats. Like, I ride the city bus sometimes, and it's annoying when people, like, have all their junk in the seat. I just stand. I'm very passive as a person.
I know.
I don't stop people from living their lives. So... there was a police officer on the train, and he apparently told her to remove her foot from the seat
and gave her like 2 seconds to do so.
Yeah, like didn't give her a lot of time, and also she had earbuds in, so she didn't actually hear him. She was like listening to music or something and like didn't hear him, and he like snapped in her face and started like yelled at her to put her foot down, and she did. Like, she did do that. And he walked away, an article that I read, I'll put the link in our bio, but article said that she rested her foot on her thigh, as we do as people when we sit sometimes, and he came back and yelled her to put her foot down or he would arrest her. So she put her foot down again. He pulled her off the train, like she was not in any way like prepared for that. It was really kind of like a violent way to do that, and like leaving her stuff on there, and passengers helped her out, like grabbed her phone and her backpack and stuff and gave it to her afterwards.
That lady that came in after she was pulled off, she was spicy.
Oh man, yeah. When he pulled her off of the train, he was like asking for ID, and she was like, I don't have any ID. I'm 18. I just turned 18. I was literally on my way to the DMV to get my ID, and I don't have ID. And he kept asking her for ID, stupid head.
Stupid head.
But another woman stepped in, a lovely other woman stepped in, and very feistily, so sassy, like told that police officer, like, I'm standing up for my people, I'm standing up, to help her, and that there's no reason she should be arrested or detained or have been pulled off the train just for having her foot in the seat, which is totally reasonable, I feel.
Right. Like,
but this article, it also said she asked the officer why he would arrest her, and that the law, and like asked what law she had broken, and he responded with, there doesn't need to be a law, you disobeyed me. Yeah, and that's when he pulled her off the train, which I feel as if
I feel like laws are there for that reason. Exactly.
And you don't have to do everything a police officer says. He's just a guy. Like,
he's just a guy.
You disobeyed me, so I'm gonna arrest you. Like, excuse me. There's laws for a reason.
Like, I mean, she knew her rights.
Mm-hmm. Bethany also said that there was other passengers eating and drinking on the train. So it's like, because, I mean, like I said, I ride the bus. People will eat entire meals of, like, Taco Bell. They'll be drinking liquor right next to the driver. Like, people smoke out of the windows. Like,
oh my God, no, I mean, like, I've been on the bus when somebody literally lit up a blunt.
Yeah, I drink, not alcohol, but I drink on the bus. Like, I'll drink like
oh no, I bring my Monsters on the bus all the time.
Monsters all the time, because I'm usually going to work. She
is Latina.
Okay, her and Bethany and the other woman that helped.
Do we know her name?
She's
unnamed.
She's unnamed.
I mean, I didn't find it either. That's why I was asking.
White. They both ended up getting arrested.
Oh, that was ugly.
Yeah, and like a billion cops showed up for some freaking reason. The police officer who originally went to arrest Bethany, like, called her back up and had them arrest the two girls. And there was
these two one of them was not tiny. One of them was not tiny.
Bethany was
and
literally
was very
like
feisty.
18 and so small
and scared out of her mind.
Yeah, like she was like crying and stuff. Like she, of course, tried to like stand up for herself. Like really, like I think she did a pretty good job of trying to stand up for herself. She was throwing the F-bomb every direction. But like still, she was an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah, I mean,
all she was doing was sitting in a seat on the train, like
just in a comfortable position.
Yeah, being comfy.
And then the tall, spicy lady.
Tall, spicy lady. I love her.
Okay, but like, how many other adjectives could you use to describe that woman?
That's true.
She's tall wonderful. And spicy.
No, she was being arrested and spit on one of the officers, which that would be a reasonable cause, I guess, to arrest her. But that was when she was being detained. So, like, I still feel like these two women they should not have been arrested like that. Or she shouldn't have been pulled off the train. Like, you could...
No, he didn't even give her a chance to grab her, like, phone or anything. Right, literally, another passenger had to grab her phone.
Like, there's different ways to handle that, and that's not one of them.
In other news, don't be a dick.
It says she was ultimately cited for loud and boisterous conduct on a train and released.
on the train when she was being loud.
Right. Not at all. She was just like minding her own business.
She had her headphones in.
Had headphones in. Yeah.
She had headphones in. She did not want to talk to you as much as you did not want to talk to her.
Exactly. That's how you are on public transportation.
Yeah, you mind your own business.
You go about your day and you do your thing.
You maybe like acknowledge other people's existence.
Right.
Like give them a nod
Give them
or
a
like
nod
a little hand.
Yeah, like I see like some of my customers on the bus and I'm like, hi, and then I proceed to my life.
Yeah.
So the Metro's chief executive released a statement.
Of course
about
they did.
it. Oh, yes. It. They only did that because of the media input that there was. There were so many people sharing the video.
Well, because
they had to do something.
There was at least 6 different versions of the video. Like you could see in this one guy's video that we watched.
Right.
Like 4 or 5 other people standing around videoing it. But this one particular guy was like actually like stepping in and saying something like, hey, you don't need to be acting that way. I thought that was really cool to see.
Yeah,
like
the guy that was videoing was actually trying to help as well.
He wasn't just like standing and watching.
And recording, yeah.
He was like stepping in. He handed her phone.
Yeah, he was like, baby.
Here you go.
But the chief executive released a statement, which I will read to you now.
Wait, clear your throat one more time.
As Metro continues to work with our this is why I don't read. Our partners in the Los Angeles Police Department on the investigation of a young woman being forcibly removed from a Metro subway train, I want to be clear about my position. We want our customer code of conduct rules enforced, but I'm disappointed at the way the situation escalated. The investigation is underway to gather all the facts, and until we have the complete story, we must not rush to judgment. Meanwhile, we remain committed to enhancing safety and overall rider experience for our customers, and look to our patrons to be our partners in that.
So you got caught.
Yeah.
You got caught, and you got upset that you got caught, and you're like, shit, I better fix this PR.
And the officer, he was like a sergeant or some shit. Like, what are you doing just sitting on a train looking for teenagers to bust for stupid shit?
Well, somebody made the point in the video that it was the end of the month.
Right, yeah, he has to meet his quota or whatever.
Which I've heard, some people say that's not true. And other people say that it is true.
It's just, it's like you don't have to do that. It's just too much.
There's no reason.
No, not at all. Like, that's such a petty thing to, like, overreact about. He's been sleeping on the couch at home. Is that what it is? And he's mad and he's got to take it out on
the first woman.
The first woman that he can find.
Oh.
But I think it's like so important that videos do exist like that, because we would have no idea that this had happened unless it like was shared around on like Facebook or whatever.
I mean, it would be like hearsay. Which is what it's been for years. But
now we have
proof.
And people like me and you are able to sit here and talk about it and analyze it.
Well, I totally agree with you. I think that videos of like police and instances where there's injustice happening, I think it's very important that those exist. But I also think that you cannot be a passive bystander. If you're going to record, you need to be fully prepared to take action if something escalates.
Right.
Because
a lot of people don't do that as well. They'll just record and they're just kind of like, it's like, why didn't you do something instead of just watching?
Yeah, like there are cases in which people literally watch like people be beat almost to death or actually be beat to death, and they just watch. They don't do anything, and it comes down to like this weird moral dilemma where it's either
like fight or flight too.
Well, that, but it's also like you are choosing to stand there. You're choosing to witness this, but you're being a passive because you're afraid for your own safety.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it's just me because I've been in these situations where I actually have had to step in. So I can speak from experience. I don't know if you can. I've like witnessed somebody. It wasn't between like police or anything. It was just a fight on the street. I witnessed somebody being physically abused on the street. And I immediately took out my phone, held it in my hand, and approached them and put my physical safety aside, which I know some people can't do.
Well, it's like, you don't know if you can do it really until you're in the situation, I guess. Because, like, I wouldn't know what I would do in certain situations.
Then in that case, you don't have to put your own physical safety at risk. You can call other people. You can call, if there's not law enforcement involved, call law enforcement. If there is law enforcement involved and they're doing the injustices, call different law enforcement.
I just think, like, some people just don't have it in them to be able to step in. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't be a passive spectator and record this video and post it online and be like, look at how terrible this is, when you literally did nothing.
There, not doing anything to help,
That's my problem, is when people are entitled enough to stand there and watch something happen and be like, wow, this is terrible. But they won't do anything about it.
Right. And,
like I especially, because I don't have any regard for my personal safety at all.
I just walk out on the street sometime.
I just don't care to protect other people when I have the power to. And there have been instances that I have not felt comfortable approaching a situation.
Right.
But I sure as hell did not stand there and watch it happen and not take action in some way. Mm-hmm. I called law enforcement. I called another, level-headed adult.
Right.
I didn't just stand there and be passive. And I get it. Like, you don't know what you're going to do in a situation.
Right.
But if you get into a situation, you do not stand there.
Yeah, I've never seen like fights and stuff like that, like out in the world. But like there's like that one time when there was just a drunk homeless guy walking in the middle of the Broadway intersection, and like most people were just like passing him by or like honking at him or something. And I straight jumped out of the car. I was like, dude, you need to get the hell out of the street. And when he wouldn't get out of the street after me trying to get him there, I was like, I'm calling the police, buddy. Like, can't.
Oh no, I called the police. And
fuck police because of this other thing that I was talking about, but also sometimes you need to call the police.
There's a reason that they exist. There's also a reason
they can help you get drunk homeless men out of the intersection.
But I mean, there's a reason that people don't like them.
Yeah,
and it's just you take a gamble when you call the cops, whether they're gonna be good people and take care of the situation, or if they're going to be dickwads like this person was.
Right.
But, I mean, like, I have called the police because I was, like, genuinely... There was somebody, like, sitting out front of our... down the street where we live.
Out front of our down the street.
I'm trying not to give away any locations.
Yeah.
And, like, this person was, like, seizing on the street.
Amazing.
I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But there were people standing around, like, videotaping. And I was like, has anybody called 911? And they were like, no.
Have you, like, called an ambulance?
They were like, no. And I was like,
you got your phone out. You might as well.
I was like, okay, well, I'll call 911 then.
Right. Jesus Christ.
But, like...
It's like, what goes through your head where it's like, oh, this would be a cool video. Not like, let me help this person. Like, I mean, some people I know don't have a helpful bone in their body, apparently. But, like, I just don't... I don't understand it.
No, I don't either.
I don't get it.
I was raised with like such compassion, and then being here in the community that we're in, where it's all centered around compassion.
Right.
It's like it's like
been
ingrained.
A compassionate university.
It's been ingrained.
We're dedicated to meeting the needs.
Okay, stop it. We're not promoting our university here.
I know, it's just forever stuck in my head.
Well, good. It should be. They're important values.
Oh, I know. I've just heard it so many times.
It's ingrained in me to be helpful and take action and, help the needs of the situation be met. I mean, it's just...
It's like... I know I was raised to, like, help people and be a good sport, Like, I don't know. Whereas... I don't know. I had a great mom.
Okay. So now we're going to segue into our art section.
Art section.
Which,
where we talk about art.
So this week...
and artist.
Oh my god!
Okay, go.
You're making this really difficult!
I know.
So this week, specifically for Black History Month, we're both featuring Black artists. So our art section is going to be like our Black History Month segment for this week. Next week, we're going to do culture, and then the week after next, I think I might have something lined up for us. So this week, I'm going to be talking about a really awesome local artist.
Yay!
Yay!
Local artist!
Local artist!
Yay! We live in Louisville, by the way.
I think they know.
I know, I just want to make sure.
In case you didn't know, we do in fact live in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be talking about Sam Gilliam this week. And he was born on November 30th, 1933 in Tupelo, Mississippi. He moved to Louisville, Kentucky when he was 8 years old. Graduated from Central High School and went on to the University of Louisville, where he graduated with, a bachelor's degree in the art field. I don't know if it was a BFA or not. So this guy, you probably have definitely for sure seen his work if you've been to the Speed Art Museum.
Hey, I've been to the Speed Art Museum.
The JB Speed Art Museum, downtown Louisville, on U of L's campus.
It's a really great place.
It's really awesome. Kind of small, not really. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's small,
it's cozy.
But it's cozy. Yeah. Like,
it's very
personal.
Fresh, new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his work is in the Speed. I don't know. I think one of them is still there, but he had a whole retrospective in 2016. But he works primarily in color fields. His earliest works were draped, stretched, and wrapped canvases. So essentially, he talked about the way he worked as being a liberation of the canvas. So he addresses issues in his artwork about, African American people. But something interesting that he does that is not common is he doesn't use the image of the black body ever. So there's no, imagery. It's all abstract and non-representational artwork.
Do you have a picture anywhere, or should I just Google? Cause I want
you can Google it. You're sitting in front of a computer.
Yeah, but I didn't know if you had it, on a...
I mean, I do,
on
but,
a thing that we have.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I have them on my guy pad.
Your guy pad? What was his name again?
Sam Gilliam.
Okay. Oh, I was typing in all caps.
Sam Gilliam!
Why do we both do that? Oh, yeah, I know exactly what these are.
Yeah, so
we've talked about them in class before, and also I've seen them 900 times.
Yeah, I've seen some of these in the Speed. And I never really put any thought into, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I read the name, and then it just evaporated from my brain.
Yeah, no, these are super cool.
Yeah, so the one that's at the Speed...
I didn't know that he was an African-American artist. Mm-hmm. I never,
Yeah, and he lived in Louisville from the time he was 8 until he graduated college, which was
cool.
And a little after. But then he moved to Washington, D.C., So the one piece, I'm going to go ahead and mention this, that we both know and have definitely both seen, because we were at the Speed together when we saw it. It's called Carousel Form 2. It's a 1969 work. It's a 75-foot long draped canvas suspended from the ceiling, and it is like a color field painting. So he's most well known for his work with the color field school in...
Oh, I found a picture of the one at the Speed Museum with...
Yeah.
That one woman.
That lady.
Yeah, she's so nice.
A nice lady.
Cute. Nice lady.
Nice
she's like a curator,
lady.
isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's the curator. She's a nice lady. Very sweet. I would also be taking a picture in front of it.
That's one of her. That's her favorite piece at the Speed. I read that article.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so that's the one that we've definitely seen. So he was one of the first artists recognized to work on canvases without stretcher bars, which I thought was really cool.
That is cool.
Interesting, and started in Louisville.
Yeah.
In the 60s, during the civil rights and political unrest, Gilliam began to make art about the specific conditions of African American people. He worked heavily... There's the note. He worked heavily in the Colorfield School in Washington, D.C. In 1972, Gilliam's work was represented at the Venice Biennale, and he was the first African American artist to have art exhibited there, which was
that's
awesome.
really cool.
Awesome. So I have a quote in here a couple of quotes actually, that I think are really interesting by Gilliam. So the first quote is that his paintings are based on the fact that the framework of the painting is real space. Mm-hmm. So he works a lot in 3D. He said he finds it, like, sometimes in a couple of interviews that I listened to, he said it's kind of hard for him to define himself as just a painter because he works with space. Mm-hmm. And he's been commissioned to do, like, public art pieces in, like, metro stations and in parks and public spaces like that.
It feels more than a painting.
But he started working with like these metal frames in his pieces. So he would like build these forms and sculptures. He would then wrap with canvas and paint. Okay. So they weren't just paintings. They weren't just sculptures. They weren't just one form of art. Can you undo that thing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna sit in dead silence until he moves this.
Our listeners don't know what you're talking about. Neither do I. Is that better?
Look what you made me do. You made me scream into my microphone again.
I did too. It spiked all the way up to the top. I feel really bad about it.
Don't worry, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. But anyway, this 2007 quote, which is super important and hit me in a certain type of way that I felt the need to write it down. It says, "Art has to be a quest for something."
Oh, God.
And that I feel like we need to have in our studio.
Yeah, we do.
We'll just like write it down and tack it on the wall, and it's just so like...
God, what is my quest? Who are we? We're taking a short break. In the meantime, on this break, listen to me screaming in different tones.
And we're editing that one out.
And I will always love you.
No.
I won't scream anymore.
I don't believe you at all.
I'm sorry. I'm really going through something right now.
I don't know what it is, but can it wait 20 minutes?
Yes.
Can you put your manic episode on pause, please? We are recording a podcast.
Okay.
In 1975, Sam Gilliam began working on these geometric collages in which he referred to them as black paintings. His work is ever-changing, from the draped canvases to collage to the metal forms later on. There's more recent work, which are called the slatted... I think that's the 2012 works. I don't know. They're like 2012 to 2014. Anyway, they're these birch panel paintings that are... They're all like puzzle-y, piecey type things.
Yeah.
And he like paints each panel separately, but then he puts them back together.
Yeah.
but they're all like monochromatic, which is really cool.
Nice.
But of course they're not like just one solid color. He like pours acrylic. He works a lot with acrylic and like resin polymers. So he pours.
That stuff's not done with oils.
On he pours the stuff on and then lets it like they're these like really super shiny like panels. But then he also has these, which if you want to slide over here and look.
Yeah.
These are super cool.
Oh yeah.
And there's just a
crisp lines.
a bunch of them. But anyway,
I like that his styles, like, it changes so much.
It's seriously, it has evolved so much.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Because he started with these canvases that were just like, he would secure them with some sort of fixative or just drape them and hang them on a wall.
Right.
And now he works with these panels or
doing stuff like that.
Sculptural
that's
stuff.
Crazy.
And it's just so interesting to see the like growth of this local artist who's like pretty like well known and renowned Black artist from Louisville, which I mean he's from Mississippi but lived in Louisville most of his life.
Though it's fine.
He is from Louisville.
Yeah.
No,
Words. Think of words before you speak. Think of them.
The way that I found him was I was looking at that exhibition, 30 Americans, that I was talking to you about earlier today.
Yeah.
And I switched what I was going to be talking about because in a video where they were talking about those artists, somebody mentioned him and then a suggested video popped up. I clicked on that video and he was giving this rundown on like his work. And it was from the Smithsonian, I believe, or the New York Times. It was one of those two. Yeah. Because I watched 2 or 3 videos on him. But he was saying, like, in Louisville, where I grew up, and my first studio was, and I was like...
And you're like, excuse me?
And so I just started doing research, and I fell deep into a hole.
That's interesting, because I saw a video of a man today from Louisville, or not from Louisville, but from Kentucky, who ate roadkill.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. No, but that is amazing. And it's cool that you just, like, by chance found that, too.
Yeah, it was...
a local...
Totally by accident.
Right.
But yeah.
I like it. I like the mix of media.
Oh, I love his work.
I love mixing media. Who needs just a painting when you can have a sculpture, too?
Who needs just a sculpture when it can be a collage and a painting and a sculpture all at the same time?
Who needs... one medium?
Who works in one medium anymore?
I don't know. I think I think most people
the year 2018 nobody works in a single medium.
To the year 3000. Anyways, we gotta get going on this. My artist for today is Augusta Savage, and I swear I hope that's like said correctly.
Do tell.
She's wonderful. She is a female African-American artist. She was born in 1892.
Ooh, she's old.
She's an old lady. With all due respect to Miss Savage. She was born in Florida in 1892. She used to make, like, when she was a kid, she would make small sculptures out of the natural clay that she'd find, like, in her hometown.
So she worked during the Harlem Renaissance and the Realism period.
She was, like, really big in the Harlem Renaissance.
And the Realism period.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she was, like, one of the top dogs Harlem Renaissance artists.
Cool.
Female. And the fact that she's female is wonderful as well.
Oh, I know. That's awesome.
I feel like during this time, like, not only was it, like, so hard to be a black artist, I'm sure, but a female black artist.
It's still hard to be a female artist.
Still hard to be anything, ever, except white male. Anyways, so, she was born in Florida. Her father was a minister and, like, hated the fact that she did art, like, hated it. And so he tried to stop her at, like, all costs from making art. And,
screw that guy.
An article said that he even, like, beat her. like tried to beat it out of her or
Oh,
whatever.
honey.
I know, like I cannot imagine someone doing that to me. That's when you stuff clay in his eyes. Her family ended up moving to like a different town, and they didn't have the same clay naturally in that town or whatever in Florida. So she ended up getting it from like a local potter or something, which was sweet. But she moved to New York in the 1920s because, you know, fuck Florida.
No offense, Florida.
No offense to those listeners in Florida. Florida.
Florida kind of sucks, but so does Kentucky.
Old people.
It's a Disney and old people. I don't know what else
Children
is there.
and old people, and that's all. Anyways, so it's a really loud truck. She moved to New York and studied art at Cooper Union, which didn't like charge tuition.
Huh.
And then the school like later on gave her a scholarship to help with living expenses. And she ended up graduating in 3 years instead of 4.
Oh.
So she did really well.
Go you, Miss
right.
Augusta Savage.
Yeah, Augusta Savage is great. But in 1923, she applied to a special summer program to study art in France, and she got rejected.
Ouch.
Because of racism. Yeah. So she was, like, not having it, and she wrote letters to local media exposing, like, the program and all that racist crap that they had going on. You sweet baby angel. I know, she did so good. It didn't, like, persuade them very much.
Well, I mean, no, but she tried.
But
one
of the board members of that program, like, felt really bad, and so he... What are you doing? He drew a butt on the chalkboard. You're stupid. But one of the
board members,
the committee members, felt regretful and invited her to practice in his studio in Long Island.
Interesting.
Yeah, so she got to bust some moves out in Long Island with this guy who just felt real bad.
Cool.
She made, like in her like adult career or whatever, she made busts and portrait sculptures.
Yeah, I'm standing here, sitting here, looking.
Here.
I'm standing.
Okay.
I'm looking at her stuff right now.
Of famous African Americans.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, because they probably didn't have many of those.
Hell yeah.
She was considered a leading artist of the Harlem Renaissance, which is we said that, which is really awesome. She ended up studying abroad in Paris. Which, fuck, go you. I want to do that.
I wish I was doing that.
Right. She became a teacher. Like, she moved back to the U.S. during the Great Depression.
She's so pretty.
And because it was the Great Depression, like, nobody really wanted to buy her busts that she made.
Oh, well,
so yeah. So she became, like, an art teacher. She said she was a teacher. I believe it was art, probably. She was also the first black artist to join what was known as the National Association of Women Painters and Sculptors.
That's super cool.
I know. And in 1939, she made a piece for the New York World's Fair called The Harp, and I have a picture of it.
I am looking at it right
now.
now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's literally like the shape of a harp. But it's people. It said in the article that I read that it was like black youth.
Yeah.
But like in various heights.
That's so cool.
Making the strings. And it's amazing. Like, you'll have to...
Is it like relatively large, or am I imagining that?
I think it's pretty big. Like, it's probably really big. It looks big. But sadly, a lot of her stuff was like made out of clay and wasn't very durable, and the harp piece was destroyed after the World's Fair, which I'm sad about, but we have pictures of it, which is really nice.
There's it looks like there's a recreation of it now.
Yeah, I think someone recreated it, but it's not the same. Just shed a single tear. But I'm glad we were able to see it still with pictures. She like went through a hot time after that. she lost her position at the Harlem Community Center because of, like, while she was working on the harp. I guess it, like, took all of her time up or something, and, like, just lost her like, leadership role that she had there or whatever.
Aww.
And so she had, like, an artist block, and she tried to open her own community art centers, which is really nice. I don't know how successful she was. It didn't say. But she got kind of, like, frustrated, I think, with everything.
It looks like maybe, I don't know.
What?
It looks like there is originals of it. But they're like, there's like multiples. Like there were minis and there were big ones.
Oh, that's weird.
But see, here it is in relation to her.
Oh yeah, that's big.
It's pretty.
That's
pretty
big.
Pretty decent size.
Hefty size sculpture.
But then there's this photo, which is a mini
That's
of
so
it.
tiny and cute.
Yeah. So
we're
yeah.
unsure.
There will be no answers.
There's no answers. You know why? Because she
internet.
died of cancer
Oh.
in 1962 on a secluded farm where she lived out the rest of her life.
Honey.
She got kind of like frustrated after that with art, I think, and like just kind of moved away and secluded herself. It said that she like taught some summer camps and stuff, and like taught like kids how to do art, sculpture, whatever. But like
Sweetheart.
she pretty much just like retired, and then died of cancer.
Oh.
But I have a really nice quote from her that I read to Damian earlier. Now he's giving me a weird smile. It says, "I have created nothing really beautiful, really lasting, but if I can inspire one of these youngsters to develop the talent I know they possess, then my monument will be in their work." And it was said in 1935.
My heart. That's
I know.
so
it's
sweet.
so sweet because like so much of me wants her work to still be here.
Well, some of it is.
Well, some of it is, but like a lot of it she didn't really make to last, I don't think. And it makes me sad because she seems like such a cool lady. But she
seems like a joy.
She like divorced her husband in the 20s,
Which is not
something that happens. So like I think she's just a hard ass.
Kicking ass and taking names.
Exactly. So yeah, that was my artist, and I'm gonna put like, I guess, links to some of her. Are we gonna put like links to some of her art or some of their art in the description so people can take a gander.
And if you're from around here, I'm fairly certain that the Speed still has.
Oh yeah.
The carousel.
I think they still have it.
Carousel Form 2. Because they had a whole retrospective of his work.
Mm-hmm.
But that one is part of their private collection.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's still on display.
I think it is too. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yay.
So that was our art section.
We both got to teach each other about interesting Black artists.
We did. I'm glad that we didn't know about like these people before.
And Sam Gilliam is still alive.
Let's go see him. Let's shoot him an email and be like, "Hey, rate, subscribe, and review."
Yeah, he's 84.
Oh, he's 84. That's
he's
cute.
84.
He's
a precious,
old guy. I love
precious little man.
Yeah.
His interview, he's so cute. He's so gentle and
Really?
sweet. Yeah,
I love it. So what do we?
Look at him. Look at him. Ain't he cute?
He is cute. I like him. So what are we talking about for our experience section?
Oh boy, Alex, I'm so glad you asked. This week we're going to talk about how we have retail experience.
Yay. Was it yesterday? Yes. Yesterday at work. Oh, I work at a grocery store. Work at the front end or whatever with the registers and all that jazz. Fun stuff. People's money.
I take your money and never give it back.
I'm that bad guy that you have to give money to. No, but most of the time I'm like a supervisor or whatever, so I try not to touch people's money unless I need to. Cause
Trying not to touch people's money.
Yeah, money's gross. But yesterday, there was a guy, like, we have, like, the lobby that has the carts, and he was sitting on one of the electric carts, and he was, like, smoking a vape. Like, he was vaping. Smoking a vape. He was vaping.
Smoking a vape.
And, like, just acting really strange and, like, randomly yelling at people. And, like just kind of, like, sitting there, like, rocking back and forth and yelling at people and vaping. And I was like, why? Why did he come in here to do this? And I, like, didn't know what to do. I was like, hey, there's this guy, like, on the radio. I was like, there's a guy, and
there's a situation.
There's just a guy yelling at people, doing some weird stuff. And apparently he, like, the manager went over there and, like, he, like, hit the door and left or something. Like, physically kicked the door and, like, walked out.
Don't you love people?
I just don't understand, like, why you go to a grocery store to do weird stuff. Like any other place, not a grocery store. We're trying to
not any other place. Do not come to my store and do that.
Go to a clothing store.
No, don't send them to where I work.
I had a guy throw food at me.
Yeah,
one time.
That was the best story.
There's a guy.
And you still see him.
I still see him. Part. Yeah, he's kicked out of the store. Like, he knows he's not supposed to come in, and I have to tell him almost every other day. And he wanted to buy, like, some rolls from the bakery. And, like, that's, you know, if you want to buy some rolls, because he's a homeless guy. So I was like, okay, I'll be nice to you. I won't kick you out this time. Because usually he tries to buy cigarettes, and we're like, no, you can't come in here, Chester. But we're like, why? Okay, let me start this. Okay. So he tries to buy these rolls, and it was 2 of them, and so I would, like, ring them up, and they were, like, 69 cents, right?
A piece?
A piece,
okay.
Yeah. And he was like, that should be, like, 30 cents. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's not. I said it better than that, but, like, I was like, you know, I'm sorry that, like, that's the price, like, I can't change that. And
that's the price of capitalism.
So he took a bite out of one of them and threw the other one at me. Then he just walked out.
So much. I love this story.
Like, why? Why do people do that? Like, how are you just gonna take a bite out of something that, first of all, you haven't paid for, and then second, throw the other one at the employee? I don't understand.
Okay. I'm going to talk about back in ye olden days when I was 16.
Ye olden
days when I was 16. So this guy comes in, and he is shopping. I can't recall what all it was that he bought, but it was like a $200 or $300 order.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's not hard to do. I think he was buying something for, like, an event. Mm-hmm. Like a wedding or some sort of something. Some fancy attire.
Okay.
And so he comes to my register. And he will, like, check him out. And I ring him out, and I'm like, that's going to be, you know, like, I want to say it was, like, somewhere around $300.
Okay. Yeah,
like, that's going to be $300. And he's like, okay, hold on. I'm going to run to my car. So he runs and gets this jar.
No.
He gets this jar.
God, banks exist.
No, listen. But wait. It gets better. He goes and gets this jar. And he brings it in a cart. Because it was too heavy for him to carry. This jar was full of pennies. And he said, I think I have about $200 in here.
Oh, my God.
And I was like...
First of all...
this is my first job.
Right. You were 16.
I was 16, and I'd maybe been there, like, 3 months. I barely had a grasp on what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I get on my radio, and I'm like, I need an MOD.
Someone save me.
I think LOD. I need an LOD to come to my station, please. Mm-hmm. And they get there, and they're like, what can I help you with? And I was like, I need help counting.
Oh, God, that's horrifying.
We can't refuse a sale because...
you can't.
A lot of places will refuse sales, but we, like, that specific company that I was working for won't refuse a sale because of their backstory. So we can't refuse a sale of any
on purpose
of any form.
I'd be like, your ass is going to the Coinstar.
So it takes us an hour and 40 minutes to count out this guy's pennies.
That's awful.
It was the worst experience of my life.
Like, that's great that you're saving pennies, but why would you put that on somebody else?
He goes on to tell me every time he breaks $1 of any sort and gets pennies back, he puts it in this jar. Yeah. And he saves it for, like, a treat for himself.
But, I think we should wrap this.
Let's wrap this horse and pony show up!
That's why I stopped, because I was like, oh, God, oh, no.
Yeah. All right,
but
guys.
Anyways, this has been a fun episode.
Thanks for sticking around and making it through and hearing all of our interesting stuff out. So
yeah.
And remember, we're highly trained unprofessionals. See you later.
Bye.